Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today VSEE just filed an 8K and I am seeing a significant shift in leadership and business operations. Quick note, this is not financial advice, just my take on public filings for educational purposes. The company has sold off a key subsidiary, which is a big move that could really change its future. So VSEE Health Inc. filed this report on the 5th of June detailing an event that happened on May 31st. Essentially, the company sold its subsidiary VSee Lab Incorporated. This isn't a small deal. It involves selling all the equity, meaning all the ownership of VSee Lab. The buyer is Milton Chen, who was a co-chief executive officer and chairman of the board for VSEE Health Inc, and also the chief executive officer of VSE Lab Inc. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of this deal. The agreement states that Milton Chen is taking on all the debt and liabilities of VSEE Lab that aren't settled by the closing date. This is pretty smart for VSEE Health Inc. because it means they are off the hook for any outstanding debts of that specific part of the business. However, VSEE Health Inc. itself will still be responsible for any liabilities related to VSEE Lab from before the sale. This includes things like taxes that were owed up until the sale date. But there is a twist: sales and use taxes that were accrued at the company level will remain VSEE Lab's problem, no matter when they were incurred, unless Mr. Chen specifically agreed to take them on. It's a bit of a complex way to carve up responsibility, but the main takeaway is VSEE Health Inc. is shedding certain burdens. So what did VSEE Health Inc. get in return for selling VSEE Lab? Well, Mr. Chen is transferring back to the company all the shares of VSEE Health Inc., common stock that he currently owns. That is a significant chunk of shares, 2,870,069 of them. This is essentially a stock for asset swap, or in this case, stock for subsidiary swap. The company gets its own stock back, which can have various financial implications, and it gets rid of the subsidiary and its associated liabilities. As a direct consequence of this deal, Milton Chen resigned from his roles as co-chief executive officer and chairman of the board of VSEE Health Inc. This signals a pretty drastic change in the company's leadership structure. Stepping into the void left by Mr. Chen, Dr. Iziku, who was already a co-chief executive officer, is now the sole chief executive officer and the new chairman of the board. This consolidation of leadership under Dr. Iziku suggests a new direction for the company post VSEE Lab sale. This next part is about the completion of that asset disposition we just talked about. The sale of VSEE Lab is now official. The filing also mentions that an unaudited pro forma condensed consolidated balance sheet and statements of operations are being filed as Exhibit 99.1. These documents will show what VSEE Health Inc. looks like financially after this major transaction, giving us a clearer picture of its new financial standing. The shares of common stock that Mr. Chen is transferring back to the company are being handled in a way that exempts them from the usual registration requirements under securities laws. This is because, according to the filing, it's not considered a public offering. This is pretty standard for these types of transactions where a company is essentially buying back its own stock from an insider. We've already touched on this, but this section formally addresses the changes in directors and officers. Mr. Chen's departure was not due to any disagreements about the company's operations. He is just out as part of this deal. And as we mentioned, Dr. Iziku is now in charge as the sole CEO and chairman. This filing also lists the exhibits, and importantly, the stock purchase agreement itself is filed as Exhibit 10.1. This is the actual legal document detailing the entire transaction. It is a key piece of evidence for understanding all the terms and conditions. And Exhibit 99.1 contains those pro forma financial statements we talked about. These are crucial for getting a look at the company's financial health after the sale of VSEE Lab, giving us a snapshot of the company's new structure and financial position as of the 31st of March, 2026, looking at the news alongside this filing. We see that VSEE Health Incorporated, or VSEEW as it is traded, recently sold VSEE Lab and lowered its pro forma loss. This aligns perfectly with the 8K filing. It suggests that selling VSEE Lab, a subsidiary, was a strategic move to reduce the company's overall financial losses. Now, let's consider the bigger picture. VSEE Health Incorporated has had a tough time. We've seen headlines about their stock plummeting and NASDAQ delisting warnings. With only 209 employees and a stock price that's been hovering around 6 cents, this sale of a subsidiary is a significant event. It's a clear indication that the company is trying to streamline its operations and focus on what remains. The institutional holders show some significant stakes. Linden Advisors LP and Cape International, Inc. SPC both hold about 4.2% of the company. Shorter and Company Inc. has 3.0%, and Clear Street Group Inc. has 2.7%. Alberta Investment Management Corp holds 2.1%. These are notable holders, and their decisions will be important to watch as the company navigates its new structure. The sale of VSEE Lab Incorporated appears to be a strategic pivot by offloading this subsidiary and having Mr. Chen return a significant number of shares. VSEE Health Inc. is essentially simplifying its business and consolidating its leadership. Dr. Ishiku is now at the helm, tasked with guiding the company forward in what has been a challenging period. The key question now is whether this restructuring will be enough to turn things around for VSEE Health Incorporated. The pro forma financials will be the most telling indicator of the immediate impact of this transaction. The risk I am watching is whether the remaining core business of VSEE Health Incorporated can generate sustainable profits without the contribution of VSEE Lab. My biggest concern is the company's ability to regain investor confidence and avoid further delisting threats given its recent trading history. What I am actually looking for is the impact of the sale on the bottom line as shown in those pro forma statements to see if this was a good move. Oh, and the research tools I actually use are linked in the description. They help keep this channel going. That is my tape. Stay decoded. Like, subscribe, and join our Discord for more.